This portion of Cowboy Corner is brought to you by our friends at Cowboys and Indians magazine, bringing you the beauty, the grandeur, and the drama of the American West 8 times a year. And by our friends at ConocoPhillips Lubricants, advanced engine protection, authentic customer support. You're listening to Cowboy Corner. I'm Red Steagall here in the bunkhouse with Jake and Badger and old Dan and Leon and all the boys and my special guest and my friend Minnie Lou Bradley. And we're talking about Angus cattle. And Minnie, we've kind of talked about how the Angus came over from England, the problems that they had getting established in the cow country. Were they not leggy enough? Did they not have enough reach to cover the country and utilize the country, and especially that short grass country that you and I are so familiar with? Was that one of the problems?
I think so. I think, well, you know, my old judging coach used to say they're long enough legged as long as they can still reach and get that grass. So he said not to worry about the length of the legs. But they did. They had them too short and too compact. And you know, the funny thing is we've always sold by the pound, but how many years did it take the breed associations to recognize we need to start weighing some of these cattle and see which ones are doing the best and which ones will weigh the most? And that's almost what happened to them, you know, when the exotics came over. The exotics were big. They weren't ranch cattle, you know, but they had the pounds. And so when they crossed with them, and that really hurt the Angus Association. In fact, one of the lowest years is when the exotics really became so popular. And it's just because the rancher had more pounds to sell.
But don't you think that the Angus contributes greater to the hybrid vigor than just about any other breed?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because what you can do, you know, with one cross, you can put them black except for the Charolais, and they've got a dominant in there where you're going to have a smoky. But most of the time, you can take a spot or any red, and you'll have a black calf, you'll have a pole calf, and so that uniforms things up. And, of course, they've always been known for their meat quality. They've always marbled better than a lot of cattle, and they finish quicker than a lot of cattle. So they were a packer's dream, particularly during the Second World War, because they had a little more fat than we needed on them, but they used that, you know, in some of the in making some of the ammunition. I don't know exactly what the fat, but now we don't want that much fat, but we still want, and we're finding out through all the breeding we're doing that there's not really any relationship between outside fat and the marbling. So that's one good thing. We can have the marbling without the outside fat.
And today, I know that the breed has overcome all those things that were negatives from the rancher in the wide open country. See, we don't understand sometimes that, or most people don't know, that over the half the cattle raised in this country are raised east of the Mississippi on acreages of less than 100 acres and herds of less than 80 animals. And so an animal that is confined in a smaller pasture and they're looked at every single day, you can do different things with that animal than you can with one you have to turn out and you don't see but twice.
That's right. That's right. And that's kind of the perception I think most cattlemen have of any purebred, that they're raised in a little hot plate. Whatever you want to call them, you know, they haven't ranged out. But they found out that these cattle can go to the desert. Well, this year our bulls last year rather, I might say now, they went from Idaho to Florida and are working. So these bulls can work. The Angus bulls can work in any country. And
you have a good bunch of Angus bulls. How many bulls do you sell every year?
We sell around 175 bulls.
Oh, goodness, that's a good-sized registered herd.
And we're really proud of our customer base, too.
That's wonderful. And where all do those bulls go?
Well, this year, you know, the majority of them will stay in the Southwest, in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, but we also sell from Idaho to Florida.
Now, as far as the breed is concerned, what are some of the things that the Breed Association has done to improve the quality of the carcass and the saleability of the product to the marketplace?
Well, I think absolutely when they started, I don't know if you know what an EPD is or not, but it's where we can take our cattle in Texas and compare them with somebody in the Corn Belt on an equal basis, and see where they are. So when we establish these EPDs, everybody would know they'd be on the same playing field, and they could say, if I need more ribeye, I can use this bull, or if I need more marbling, or if I need more fertility or whatever. And then they were the first, and I think still maybe the only one that has open AI. That is to say, anybody can buy semen on any bull they want to buy from. So the little guy with 5 cows has the same opportunity as the guy with 500 cows because he can buy from the very top genetics. So those were 2 good things. And then they've started so many things. And the thing is, if we send in 200 calves today, email it in, the information, in 24 hours, it's emailed back to us. So the information is available to people so quickly that they can make all these decisions. But, we're looking at now, we thought when we had the EPDs about 5 years ago, we started dollar values, like say this bull, well, we'll just say it has a plus 25 on dollar W, which his calves ought to wean you $25 more than the next one. And they change the price according to the markets ever so often, but that's generally how it works. Or if it's the grid, cattle selling on the grid, they'll tell you what this bull's worth over the average bull, and then the dollar B takes it all in. Now we're working on efficiency, which I think past time to do that because it's not the optimum weight, it's the net dollars you keep. So now they're working on all these feed efficiency gains. Like we have $1 EN, and that's how much that cow is weaning for the cost it's costing her to get that calf. If you have a 600-pound calf and it costs you more than $700 to get him there, you better go back to that 500-pound calf where he's netting more dollars. That's what we're trying to do. And with grain prices going up and fuel prices going up and everything, feed is going to become more and more important on feed efficiency. Now they've just brought in DNA. Of course, DNA, we've been doing DNA for about 12 or 15 years on parentage. See, now the great thing is now in our country, we was always held back because we had to put one bull out in a pasture, in a 2-section pasture, and it's hard for him to cover all those cows in a 60-day period and all this. And so we were the first to use DNA on parentage, and we run multi-sires in a registered operation, and that really buggers some people. But every calf is DNA'd to find out who his sire is, to keep the information all straight. Association started doing parentage on all AI sires and donor cows several years ago to be sure parentage is correct. But now we're going into DNA for feed efficiency, marbling, ribeye, you name it. It's going to be the most exciting time that cattle people have ever been in. And they're incorporating it in with the EPDs. So anybody now, in fact, we're getting so much information, a lot of people get confused. So this time at our sale, we've gone in and starred them, say 5 stars is the best, and we do this ourselves, say on winning weight or calving ease. Now, calving ease is really what brought the Angus breed around in the West Texas, and in the New Mexico and all, where they have big pastures and can't check on the heifers all the time because calving ease, and we've got the accuracy up so much now. But with DNA, we won't have to wait until this bull's had several calves on the ground to figure it all out. DNA will start telling us he's got it bred into him. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be an exciting time.
That is exciting.
It is exciting. It really is.
It's because of the breed association itself that gives you all those tools. So as an independent breeder, then you have a lot of alternatives, don't you?
Oh, we have world's alternatives. And the old mother cow is we always want to say that's what made the Angus breed. But I want to tell you, it was the board sitting up there making a lot of decisions that were unpopular at the time, whether it be OpenAI, CAB, Certified Angus Beef, has been the greatest thing that ever happened. And it was fought tooth and toenail. One man quit the board and all this kind of stuff, you know. But in the long run, it seemed like the boards have made the right decisions most of the time. And then they've had really good staff people, really good people, dedicated people. And I would like to talk a little bit about CAB if I can.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to get you to come back, and we're going to do that on the next show.
Okay.
If you'll come back and visit with us again.
All right, thank you.
Because we run out of time on
All
this.
right.
Minnie, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being here and driving all the way down here to the bunkhouse to visit with us. I'm really impressed that you would want to come this far, and we're so proud you're here. And we are going to come back. You are going to come back and visit with us again, and we got a lot of things we're going to do and talk about. So,
Well, thank you.
you folks.